Hi, my name's Ashley, and I chose the Crisis Pregnancy Center as my organization. A crisis pregnancy center, sometimes called a pregnancy resource center, is a type of nonprofit organization established to counsel women who are currently pregnant, have had a child, have had an abortion, or even domestic violence. They also provide free supplies for women who are pregnant or who have had children already. Crisis pregnancy centers generally offer additional non-medical services such as financial assistance, child rearing resources, and adoption referrals. Crisis pregnancy center qualify as medical clinics, may also provide pregnancy testing, sonograms, and other services. There are many myths about crisis pregnancy centers, which are really heartbreaking, since this organization is nonprofit and its sole purpose is providing support to women in any circumstance. According to Kelsey Hazard, founder of Secular Pro-Life, these myths include that crisis pregnancy centers are fake clinics, that they only care about preventing abortions, that they use volunteers who are unqualified, all crisis pregnancy centers have religious affiliations, and that they pressure women into agreeing to adopt. Are crisis pregnancy centers fake clinics? There's two types. There is traditional crisis pregnancy centers that are not clinics and do not pretend to be, although in most states they do offer pregnancy tests and prenatal vitamins. They provide social services including parenting classes, options counseling, and baby supplies, and other financial aid. The second type is a pregnancy help medical clinic. These are licensed clinics working under the direction of an MD. The medical services offered at these clinics vary, but most include ultrasounds, on-site prenatal exams, STD testings. In either of these cases, they cannot be considered fake clinics. Do crisis pregnancy centers care only about preventing abortions? The answer is no. Crisis Pregnancy Center is not just about preventing abortion, although this is an important part that they play a role in. Crisis pregnancy centers want to help women no matter what their circumstance is. Crisis Pregnancy Center has programs for parents who are choosing adoption or even parenting advice. They offer counseling, supplies, and financial support for women whose babies have already been born and women who are struggling with prior abortion. Conversely, I would argue that nurses and doctors talk patients into abortions by referring to the growing fetus as just tissue. According to my mother, who had an abortion before my brother and I were born, she was told by all the nurses that it was just tissue. But she stated that she knew differently when they inserted the horrible suctioning device. She says that it felt like it was sucking the life out of her, and it literally was. Do crisis pregnancy centers use volunteers who are unqualified? Crisis pregnancy centers do utilize volunteers, as this is a non-profit organization, and most of these people are here volunteering their time, money, and effort into support of struggling women no matter what the nature. That being said, all volunteers undergo training to ensure that they are qualified to assist women and the unborn. Do crisis pregnancy centers all have religious affiliations? Some do and some do not. Many respectable nonprofit organizations have religious affiliations. People who make this claim usually are implying something further, such as religious discrimination. This is completely false. Not all volunteers are religiously affiliated, and no woman will be turned away no matter what her religion. Do crisis pregnancy centers pressure women into agreeing to adopt? Crisis pregnancy centers work to empower women to make the best choice for themselves and their babies, whether this means raising the child or putting them up for adoption. No woman will be forcibly coerced into agreeing to adopt their child. Crisis Pregnancy Center is a great organization whose main purpose is taking care of all types of women. It's sad to me that there's such a bad stigma and completely incorrect information about CPC. I fear most of this stigma comes from the pro-choice side that believe there's nothing wrong with abortions and that crisis pregnancy centers are only there to talk women into not having abortions. Is that such a bad thing? Is the worst thing that you can say about Crisis Pregnancy Center is that they stop abortions? I say that isn't that terrible. According to Deborah J. Laws, Executive Director of Crisis Pregnancy Center, since opening in 1983, the Crisis Pregnancy Center has saved over 1,400 babies through a compassionate presentation about the truth of abortion and the love and saving grace of Jesus Christ. They have ministered to over 4,000 women and have seen more than 600 women make a decision for Christ. Additionally, they have ministered to more than 800 women through their post-abortion ministry. Crisis pregnancy centers educate women about the truth about abortions, and in turn, these women choose differently. Crisis Pregnancy Center has played a huge role in stopping abortions and supporting women through all types of struggles. Statistics show that only 12% of women included a physical problem with their health among reasons for having an abortion, and 1% reported that they were survivors of rape. If that is the case, then 87% of women who have other reasons, such as financial difficulty for having an abortion, if CPC can change the mind of those 87% by supporting them mentally and physically, then they're doing their job. Approximately $831 million goes to abortion services annually. If even just half of that, 87%, change their mind and decided to keep their child, the money that would usually be going to abortive services, roughly $361 million, could go to organizations such as this to support women from all walks of life. That is a lot of what women's life changed for the better.